him. As the risk taker, I invested 50% on mixed farming, 20% on livestock production, and 30% on crop farming, all in the hope to get more returns on investments and cash out. To commence work, I put out a signboard and hired anyone who looked fit and agile enough to him. It all felt like things were working out. But things did not turn out like Aya hoped. He was spending more than he was getting, losing more than he was winning, and he questioned why. It was later revealed to Ayo that
Can
his
you give
farm
me this
hands had been
accommodation money? Say
opening,
it's not
stealing
me
the
that shared this
produce
money.
and earning from it all. He realized it was all his fault. He had simply hired without doing any background check to determine their worthiness. Almost bankrupt, I decided to quit. Later, he meets Joy, who introduces the Know Your Farm Hands app to him and tells him he could better know his farm hands before recruiting them. Know Your Farm Hands is an application that guides a farm owner on recruitment of farm hands with reference to their previous experiences and farmers' encounters about them. Know Your Farm Hands offers seamless means of getting farm hands data before recruiting them. In it, previous employers' review of the employee are uploaded and available to new employers. Not just that, farmers can also want to employ them in the future. You can verify the experience of the about to be employed farm hands on the application by just searching with his first name or phone number to get all his data, including his picture, previous farm name, employer, and his review. To get started, download the application for free on Google Play Store. For more information or support, send a mail to support@knowyourfarmhands.ng or visit our website at knowyourfarmhands.ng or call 0905 399 4937 or 0705 368 0191. With Know Your Farm Hands application, I could really cash out and have returns on his investment. With Know Your Farm Hands, farm owners can allay their fears about their farm hands.
Thank you, Know Your Farm Hands. I believe you are done. So I think we need to quickly get into the business of the day. This month's webinar is taking a slightly different turn from the usual. This evening, we're taking testimonies from two unrelated farmers operating in different regions in Nigeria. These farmers, like many of us, enthusiastically entered agribusiness with high hopes of returns. They made several attempts with minimal successes and in some cases outright failures, but they never gave up. After reviewing their activities over a period of time, they were unsatisfied with their performance. Both of them went back to the drawing boards to re-strategize, going through their processes, identifying their areas of weaknesses. They discovered that the first key to success in this business is the use of high quality seeds and input. Armed with that useful bit of information and hungry for success, they both went for East-West seed, and the rest is history. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming our first speaker for tonight, Engineer Daniel I. EJ. Engineer EJ is a current registered civil and structural engineer and a member of the Project Management Institute and the Nigerian Society of Engineers. He has executed over 50 construction projects across oil and gas, ICT, health, maritime, power, agriculture, building and transport industries. He is an agribusiness professional and the founder and CEO of E.A. Daniels Farms in Sapele, Delta State, located in the South region of Nigeria. Engineer Ije's foray into farming was born out of the need to fill his time. He started vegetable farming on 2.5 hectares of land. And after several unsuccessful attempts, he reduced his farming activities to one plot so as to fully understand the nitty-gritty of the business. As a result of his past experiences and having discovered East-West seed, Engineer Ije only plants East-West seeds varieties on his farm. To be once bitten, they say, is to be twice shy. Now, Engineer has successfully farmed different varieties of East-West tomatoes, cucumbers, pepper, okra, and sweet corn, where he has in all cases recorded astronomical yields. Engineer Ije is also involved in farm design projects, irrigation design, design of fertilizer application schedule, design of pest control programs, and greenhouse operation. Engineer now successfully plants on 1.7 hectares of land. Please join me in welcoming Engineer Daniel Ije. Engineer, you have the floor. You can unmute yourself.
Thank you for this warm introduction. I must say I am very happy to be among the farmers. Collaboration is very important where farmers talk to one another to learn how to make our effort yield success. I hope you can hear me. I hope
yes,
you can
we
hear
can.
me. Okay.
Yes, we can.
Okay, collaboration like this is very important for farmers as it avails one the opportunity to know what is possible and how to reassess our processes in order to ensure that we have our desired or intended result. So having said that, I will be speaking on return on investment for a tomato project. Can you share my slide, please?
The host will share your slides now.
Okay, so I will be speaking on return on investment should one want to enter into tomatoes production. Host, please bring it up. Host, please bring the presentation up. Okay, good. Before I start, I would like to say this. The whole project on the background of this presentation, there are pictures taken from my farm. So I continue. Why tomatoes? Tomato is a popular fruit vegetable extensively consumed in Nigeria. And the tomatoes plant can be cultivated in all states in Nigeria and all year round. If we can grow it in Sapele where we have a lot of water, it can be grown everywhere. As a matter of fact, when I started cultivation of fruit and vegetables back in 2016, people thought that it would not be possible to grow these vegetables here, but today it is possible. Then the plant grows well over a wide range of temperatures. And the tomatoes is the top source of vitamins A and vitamin C, which is highly needed in our body. Then at room temperature, it can be stored for 7 this without no problem. Then let's look at the market potential of this tomato. The market is very important. It is the beginning and the end of all our endeavor. When it has to do with farming as a business, market is part and parcel of it. So tomatoes has a large market potential locally and internationally, but let's face locally. Its market potential is very, very high. And tomato is a common ingredient vegetable in our dishes. So many people consume tomato. Then market preference plus environment should decide variety to grow. I think a farmer like me who started with little knowledge of this fruit and vegetable cultivation,
get back. Let me call you before I will deal with it.
Have in one way or the other grow a variety that does not suit to our environment. As a matter of fact, this afternoon, a colleague came to my house and told me that he wants to put all the tomatoes in his farm, which he planted about 3-4 weeks ago because they did not develop. So, and price should decide production window. You know, when you want to plant tomatoes, it starts from a particular time and ends at a particular time. So before you decide to embark on a tomatoes project, you have to know what the price is likely to be when your product comes out. And transportation and sale should be planned in advance. Don't wait to harvest your tomato before you start looking for who will buy it or who will carry it to the market. You have to plan it in advance. And market size plays a key role in deciding the quantity to produce. If you live in a small community, you grow so much tomato, when you take them to the market, people will beat the price down. And if you have not planned very well, you sell it the price that they fixed. To a large extent, that price is always lower than the market price in urban centers or in a bigger market. Then the point I want to make again is very important, which everybody should please pay attention to. In the last 10 months, price of tomatoes fluctuated between 250 to 580 naira per kg in Delta State. And in the next 6 months, price may fluctuate between 250 to 700 naira per kg. So it's a good, I think the price is good for this from now till the next 6 months. The price will be very, very good. So it's a time to invest in tomato, it's a time to cultivate tomato, and it's a time to grow tomatoes. Now, what do we take to market? You know, some of us who have tried so many things, this is very important. What do we take to the market? What will the market pay for? Market will pay for the quantity of tomatoes it receives from farmers. And the metrics for measuring this is either the basket or the weight of tomatoes that you send to the market. Please, next slide. Next slide, please.
Post.
Next slide, please. Okay, good. So the marketplace, we pay for the quantity, or the quantity is measured in either kg or bags. That is what the market will pay for. Why I bring up this point is that we should know that so many people have tried so many things, so many technologies, so many cultures, the market will not pay for those ones. Those are yield enhancement measures that we take to ensure that we come up with a reasonable yield. So the market will pay for the quantity of tomatoes that you send to the market. And the measure of success is the quality and quantity of tomatoes, our effort yield, not the technology we use in growing it. So if you have the best of technology in your farm, it's not bringing in anything, the market will not pay for it. Therefore, any method, any protocol that we adopt in our production should be geared towards yield enhancement, yield increments. Now, what are the knowledge areas? If you want to grow tomato, what and what should you know? You have to know about the market, like I said, is the first thing. You have to know about the market. Then secondly, you have to know the nutrition. Then third, the water management, the water requirement for tomato is very, very high. You have to know it. Then the weed control, you have to have an idea of what it is. Otherwise, these are things that can bring your yield down. You have to know them. Then pest control, you have to know it. Disease control, very, very important. When you see your plant is not ready, you have to know what is wrong. Otherwise, our yield will drop. Then the environment under which you are growing the tomato, you have to understand it. You have to know your relative humidity, how it affects tomato. You have to know the radiation, how it affects tomato. You have to know how air affects tomato. All of these environmental factors, they are the determining factor for your farm layout. Then, of course, your human resources, the people you are going to work with to grow these tomatoes, you have to understand them, how they work, and have to optimize everything for the business to be profitable. Then agronomy, you still have to know it. Very, very important. Then, having said this, we'll look at a case study of the tomato project I did last year. The variety is Platinum F1. Like the host said, I've done other tomato varieties. But for that last year, because of the nature of that, in my location, the rain is very heavy. September, immediately after August break, the rain is usually very heavy. So somebody, said to Platinum can withstand it. I said, okay, let me grow Platinum this time. So I planted the Platinum, and the population I planted 6,750 plants on that field. And the production window from August to December, I transplanted it after August break. So these are the things the input that the project took. Fertilizer, it cost me 800,000 to buy fertilizer for 6,750 tomato plants. Then the drip kit I used, 180,000 naira. That last year, people visited me from Port Harcourt. They said, how come you are using a drip irrigation for tomato during the rainy season? So I told them I always use it. Should rain fail, so that I'll have something to fall back to. And I use drip irrigation for my fertilizer application. Then the mulching film cost 140,000 naira. The pesticide cost 40,000 naira. Then the borehole, it cost me 60,000 naira to put up. Borehole drilling is very cheap here. Our water table is very, very high. Then the pump I used to bring out the water from the borehole cost me 55,000 naira. Then the PVCs, which I use for the connection, cost me 30,000 naira. The tank, which I use for water storage, not necessarily for fertigation, but should there be need for people to take care of themselves after work, to put in our knapsack to spray. That tank is a 1,000 liters tank. It cost me 10,000 naira. Then the land was given to me free. I did not pay anything for the land. Then the bamboo sticks I used cost me 120,000 naira. And the twine which I used in trellising the tomato cost me 65,000 naira. the seed, of course, Platinum F1, cost me 30,000 naira for this project. So this is my input. So this is the operation. Land preparation, it cost me 120,000 naira for my land preparation. This land preparation includes the cost for tractor to come, plow the land and do it. The cost for people to come and make the ridges, apply the manure and lay the plastic mulch. So the planting, that is transplanting from nursery to the field, it cost me 30,000 naira to transplant it, and the weeding cost me 30,000 naira. The labor which I have in the farm, this one is on monthly wage for 4 months. It cost me 120,000 naira. Then the fuel which I use for the generator cost me 20,000 naira. Then the harvesting cost me 250,000 naira. That is the highest for the operation. Then the transportation of the tomato from farm to the market cost about 100,000 naira. So I decided to put up a buffer of 200,000 naira. This buffer, we use it sometimes to buy water in the farm, transportation. People in the farm, it's not everything that we remember to take at a certain time. So we have to send people messages. So sometimes we eat in the farm. So this, we put up 200,000 naira for this. So everything about the project cost me 2.4 million naira for 6,750 tomatoes plants. So from this project, we harvested just a little above 1,000 crates of tomatoes. Just a little above 1,000 crates of tomatoes. And we started picking early November. So the harvest window was November/December. And the price we sold staggered around 250 naira and 300 naira per kg. And each of our crates is about 26 kg. So when you look at this whole data, at 250, we did not sell all at 250. Some were sold above 250, but the highest we sold was 300 naira per kg. So at 250, if all were to be sold at 250, what we would have gotten is 6.5 million naira from this project. And if all were to be sold for 300 naira per kg, we would have gotten 7.8 million. We did not get 7.8 million from the project, but we got above 6.5 million. The price is in between. So before now, I made mention of what the price of tomato is likely going to be in the next 6 months. From April, price will go up, which every tomato grower knows. April price goes up, May price is up, June, May price is up, April price is up, June price is up. So I added some column so that it will be a guide for the people who want to invest in tomatoes cultivation. So if we were to sell at 350, the price we would have made from this is 9.1 million naira. Of course, the ROI is there. At that, the ROI will be 279%. That will be our return on investment. And if we were to sell at 400 naira, what would I make is 10.4 million, ROI of 333%. If we were to sell at 450 naira per kilo, our ROI would have been 387.5%, and that will amount to 11.7 million. And if we were to sell at 500 naira, our total revenue would be 13 million naira, ROI of 441%. Last year June, we were selling tomato 400 naira per kg in our project. So, and this year the price is likely going to go above that, considering the price of tomato at the moment. So if it goes up to 550, which is very, very likely, we would have realized 4.3 million, ROI of 490. So it's good to invest in tomato. It's good to have good seed, very, very important. It's good to have quality fertilizers and so many other things. So this is what I have to say. And if there is a question pertaining to what I have said, I think either now or towards the end of the meeting, I think the host to determine. I will welcome as much question as possible. Ordinarily, I would have even loved to, show some pictures of the farm, let people ask questions. That kind of interaction is very important in any farming endeavor. Thank you all.
What an awesome testimony, engineer. I keep wondering, a structural engineer doing all this in an industry where even many people are not able to achieve it. But you have done a great job. You are doing a great job. And thank you for sharing your testimony with the rest of the world. So at least we know that it can be done. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming on. There are a few questions in the chat for you already, but we'll take all the questions during the question and answer session. So thank you, engineer, once again. And I think we have a short video to show. If the host can please show the video now. Thank you. Host, do you have the videos? Thank you so much. And I think we have Mr. Olumide Adeyemi, whose picture we just showed in the video. I think we have him on the line. Can we, if he's on, can host, can you please? Host, can you please unmute Mr. Adeyemi Olumide if he's on, so that he can just give us a few words? He's the man in the picture, the video that was just played. Do we have Mr. Adeyemi online? Okay, so if he's not there, maybe he would come up later. So while we wait for him to come up, I think we'll just take, we'll quickly go to the next section, and would like to invite Mrs. Hadiza Yaro to give us a short presentation on the East-West seed varieties they have for tomatoes. Mrs. Hadiza Yaro is the Business Development Manager for East-West Seed International. Mrs. Yaro, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good evening.
Good
Thank
evening.
you so far with the presentations. Thank you, Engineer Daniel, for this section. Yeah, thank you, good presentation. I will be taking you through some of the varieties we have in East-West Seed. We had Engineer Daniel speaking about the Platinum F1 variety, which we know is popularly grown in most of the seasons because of the obvious resistances. It's resistant to tomato leaf curl virus, and it's one of the best variety you can put when the temperatures goes very high. It has a very good heat set, meaning where you see other tomato varieties flowers dropping because of high temperatures, we have the Platinum F1 thriving very well. So join me to see other varieties as I do the presentation. Okay, I want to say a little bit about tomato. Tomato is a very precious vegetable. In almost all the homes we visit, we see people using tomato on a daily note. Even when the prices go very high, people cannot afford not to eat tomato. And Nigerians typically, you would notice that people buy the canned tomato under pressure. People wouldn't ordinarily go for tomato that is canned, but rather would prefer the fresh tomato. In every homes, we see people making stews and sauces from tomato. And then Nigeria is ranked the 14th largest tomato producing countries. And then of course, we contribute about 10.7% tomato production in Africa, and then in the world, Nigeria accounts for about 1.2%, meaning there are market leaders in terms of tomato production. Here today, we're talking about, we saw the video, which is about 50 tons per hectare. I tell you that is not the best even you can get, or the maximum you can get out of our varieties. I know people that have done 80 to 100 tons per hectare, which of course the return on investment, which is about 130 that we have seen, 130% for the video we've seen, is not even at best. We were on a chat group almost all day, 2 days back, people arguing forward and backward. And I loved what somebody presented. He said, the return on investment you're seeing in cucumber, I've achieved it, but I have moved on to tomato because my return on investment for tomato, it's even more than what I can get from my cucumber, right? So the person has moved on. Invariably, we're saying we only are just picking one farmer, but of course we have farmers that are doing even much more than that. And then tomato is a unique crop because the post-harvest loss is quite interesting, where at a period we see a glut, and then at a period we don't have tomato in the market. All the tomatoes in the market will even turn yellow. You wouldn't even want to use it for any sauce or stew. So in Nigeria, we have close to 45% lost right on the farm by farmers. Sometimes it even goes higher. That is where you see the tomato actually melting, right? But then again, while you carry the tomato from one location to another, the farmers still incur additional losses. Apart from that, the shelf life is really horrible when you use open pollinated varieties before it gets to Lagos. I've seen cases even where farmers will transport tomato from Kano all the way to the south, and on getting to the south, the tomato goes bad. Instead of the farmer selling, the law enforcement agent will tell them, okay, for this your bad tomato, you have to pay for money for you to dump it in Lagos because we don't have enough space in Lagos for dumping So the farmers in most cases will run away, leave the truck, leave the tomato. But here we are today with the good news telling you we have very good tomato varieties. I've seen it, I've had it, people can testify, minimum of 2 weeks shelf life out of refrigeration. Is that not good news for our farmers? I think it's really good. So we have varieties that can curtail post-harvest losses for tomato. Let me not dwell so much on this. I move to the next slide. Right, we spoke about Platinum F1, you can see on the screen. This is in the peak of the wet season, sometimes in July, August in Zaria, right? And then by my right-hand side, you can see Olumide, the farmer in the video somewhere in Kwara State, that his best bet in all tomato varieties is Platinum F1. And he's really sticking to that variety because it works for him. What you can see in front of him is Platinum F1. Next, I move to Padma F1. This is also a very nice variety, resistant to bacterial wilt. The fruit sizes are bigger, and we try to position this variety in the wet season. Where you find it difficult to grow tomato, the good news is with Padma F1, you're good to go, because this variety was developed in the island of Java, where there is what? 12 months of rainfall, 12, 1, 2, 3. There is no month it doesn't rain. And then these guys have to eat tomato. So what do? They have to survive. So this variety is also very good for the wet season or in the cold, dry season. We don't position it in the hot season. Most people will insist, but then I tell you, it's not your best bet, because each of our varieties, we try to position them with the obvious resistances, with the obvious performances, not like it will not perform, but then it's not your best bet, I can tell you that. Then next again, we have the, okay, I've jumped one. We have the Diva F1. This is also a fantastic variety. We position it only in the wet season, and then in the cold, dry season, the fruit sizes are quite large. If you can see from my screen, this is Diva tomato variety. You can see the ground is completely saturated with water. And then this particular variety was planted on the 9th of June and transplanted on the 30th of June. It goes to tell you that this tomato variety is performing excellently in the middle of the raining season. You can see how beautiful the fruit looks. It's quite red in color in the wet season. Then we have again another tomato variety, because our specialty in East West Seed, we try to position varieties for different seasons, for different elevations. Most farmers will argue or stick to one variety, but I tell you it's not healthy, because breeders have made research and have tried to give specification to farmers to say, okay, stick to this variety in this season, stick to this variety within this particular elevation. This is a fantastic variety, but we try to position it in highlands, Mambila Plateau. We also try to position it in the Jos Plateau. But unique characteristics of these varieties, the northerners can take advantage of Nirvana F1, because we have seen it year in, year out, where the performance was excellent in the cold, dry season, meaning planting sometimes in October, November, and then you have the tomato develops all the way to January, February. It's a fantastic variety, very good. And the fruit sizes are quite large, and then it's known to be particularly resistant to TYLCV. It's also resistant to bacterial wilt, and it's very fleshy and tasty. Next, for those of us that are lovers of greenhouse, this is a greenhouse variety, Larissa F1. What a beautiful name. The tomato variety is quite large, and then of course the color can be really, really red in color. Yields are also very good for Larissa. And then we also try to do some research around growing Larissa, and the good news is farmers that have a temperature that's pretty low, in the cold, dry season, you can use Larissa F1. This is a field I have tried Larissa F1 outdoors, and it's a very, very good variety when you want to position it outdoors. We also have some other varieties we call in the pipeline, because we keep on researching to put good varieties on the table of our farmers. We have not yet launched this variety. This is among other varieties, but of course, this is a promising variety. We need to gather around for the naming ceremony. But for now, the variety is called 9798, but then not yet named. So when the name is out, we will come public to tell you what is the name of this variety. And it has proved to be very good in the cold dry season, as well as the wet season. Thank you very much. You will be seeing me back in a jiffy. And I think Olumide is in the house. I saw when he joined. Thank you very much. I will return shortly.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Yaro. Thank you. Mr. Olumide Adeyemi is in. I saw him come in also. Please, the host, if you could unmute Mr. Olumide Adeyemi, he's the man in the picture that you see on the screen. Let him just share his success story with us before we move on. Host, please unmute Mr. Adeyemi. Thank you. I'm not sure he's in. Maybe he dropped off. I don't know.
Maybe he dropped, but I saw him.
I saw him coming also.
Yeah.
So we'll wait.
Can take him later.
Maybe we'll just take him later.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'd like to find out if Kun Everts is in the house. Mr. Kun, is he in?
Yes, I'm in, Folake.
Hey, so
Can you
thank you. Oh, thank you. So before we proceed to the next speaker, I'd like you to join me in welcoming Mr. Kun Everts for a message from East West Seed. Mr. Everts is the regional business head for West Africa at East West Seed. You are welcome, Kun.
Thanks, Folake. I'm impressed with the webinar that you set up and all the enthusiastic stories of the farmers of Nigeria being so successful in growing our varieties. This is really, in the end, this is what East West is doing it all for, right? Our mission is really to help people, to help farmers, particularly smallholder farmers, to get a better yield and get a better livelihood. And we've been very successful in Asia to accomplish this mission, and more in Africa, you see the footprint of East West shining. And Nigeria is a good example where cucumber farming, where tomato farming is getting more and more successful. So I'm extremely pleased by hearing the enthusiastic stories of the farmers today. We're hearing return on investments of over 400%, which is really, really successful. And it's a no-brainer if you want to put your money anywhere. Forget about Bitcoin or cryptos, but put it in cucumber, right? That is at these returns of investment, which is 400% for one crop cycle, and you can do 3 crop cycles a year. It is really fantastic returns. So I'll keep it short. I'm just really happy and honored to be in this webinar and to hear the testimonials of the farmers of Nigeria growing East West products. And please stay tuned, because we've only just started in Nigeria. We have an impressive portfolio at the moment, but we're rolling out further varieties as time progresses. So thanks again. Stay with us. And you'll hear more of East West as we're on our way to become the leading vegetable seed company of Nigeria. Thanks, Folake.
Thank you, Kun. Thank you so much. So we'll quickly go to our next speaker. Our next speaker is my namesake, Mrs. Folake Agunbiade. She's an indigene of Lagos State and the MD of Aris Farm located in Igbogila, in Yewa North local government area of Ogun State. She started farming 4 years ago out of interest and a passion to provide food. Having been physically trained on cucumber farming by her friend, she commenced farming different varieties of cucumbers on 1 acre of land. After several unsuccessful attempts occasioned by improper seed selection, diseases, etc., she decided to downgrade to planting on less than a plot in order to learn the rudiments. Being satisfied with the results and having been advised on certified high-yielding hybrid seeds, she proceeded to plant Gringo F1 cucumbers from East-West Seed. The result? Please sit back and hear from the horse's mouth. All I know is that after that experience, her conclusion is never again to plant any other seed variety but East-West Seed. In addition to cucumbers, Mrs. Agumpiade now farms tomatoes, peppers, and watermelon, all from East-West Seed, on 4 hectares of land. She is happily married with kids. Mrs. Folake Ayub Agumpiade, you have the floor. You are welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, thank you for the introduction and the privilege, to share my testimony of my experience with Gringo F1. I started doing cucumber about 4 years ago, and like she rightly said, I learned from a friend, and the first experience I had, maybe due to the it was a virgin land. So we didn't really have so much problem on that first experience. But after that experience, it was something else. So the testimony goes like this. While I was experiencing difficulty with the second cultivation of cucumber, I started to, initially, I didn't take it seriously. But the third time, I knew there was a very big problem. I went back to my mentor and told him, what I was going through. And he was telling me like, cucumber, it's not easy like that, madam. I said, eh. So from there, I then knew that, there was more to this crop than I expected. But we failed the third time and the fourth time. After the fourth time, I decided to relax. In the process of relaxing, I was going from one farm to different farms, meeting people, anybody that talks about cucumber, I want to know how they are doing it. I did a lot of, personal research on my own, and I discovered that, it's not something you can just decide to handle anyhow. In the course of my research, so we now downgraded to like less than a plot. We planted about 8 varieties, different varieties. But Gringo was not part of it because I didn't even have any idea about that Gringo. So, but there was a particular one, about 2 of them did very well. The others were still having issues of these diseases. So what I wanted to really, I was so concerned about, I want something that will not give me problem of disease. What will that variety be? So, but those 2 that did well, I was like, okay, we can still manage this one. At least what we will do is to ensure that we manage the disease properly. So by the time it starts to fruit, probably if disease now coming, then we know that yes, whatever yield we are able to get at that time. So, but unfortunately for me, as at the time I was ready, well, after clearing the field, doing everything, preparing to do the main cultivation, those 2 were out of stock. I didn't know what to do again. I discussed with one of my friends, And he told me that, madam, go and plant gringo. I said, which one is gringo again? I said it in Yoruba. He said, oh, there's this gringo. It's very, very good. It's from East-West seed. I know I have seen East-West somewhere, but I actually didn't know all their varieties. I wasn't even doing it. So I said, it's okay. I called an agronomist in Abuja. He's a very good friend of mine. I told him about it. And he was telling, I said, yeah, East-West, there is nothing about them that is not good. I now asked him that, for all this while I've been having problem, I will come to you, you will tell me that I should do it this way. Why didn't you tell me about this seed? It was like, I didn't know, but those ones too are good, but this one too is very, very good. Oh, and he has vigor. You know, that vigor that I heard, I was like, vigor. Okay. Then after that, I started talking to different people. Damilola is a staff of East-West, and he's my colleague, he's a friend. But then I didn't know he was the staff. So I called him and informed him that I heard about one seed. That what was it about it? I told him the name. I said Gringo. He now told me that is very good. He recommended the seed very well and told me some of their distributors that sell it and some of the people that sell them. So I decided to buy. And we started planting. I planted it at the time that people do have issues with white flies. That was in December. I think it was on the 10th of December that we planted it. Hence, was it on the 1st or 2nd that we planted Gringo? So on the 1st, yeah. So, and by the time it came out, we had almost 100% germination. Just few did not come out. And those that didn't come out, the supervisor of my farm traced it to rats, that they were eaten by rats. So it's not as if they didn't want to come out, but because they were actually taken away by rats. Because they said they saw their fingerprints there. So, and that was it. So we started to monitor them and care for them. And, like from the research, as a student, I used to carry my book. These people must not miss. Right from the land preparation, we ensured that we did every necessary thing. We didn't omit anything, any step. So by the time we planted, it started to germinate and growing, gradually, and came the fruits. When the guy was telling me, he told me that even though it has very, very good yield, but the thing is that the fruits are not as big. The kind of fruit I saw then, they were so big that I was like, how come? So probably it has to do with watering. Because the way I water, I ensure that I will water in the morning, and in the evening, we will give more than enough water, so that to ensure that they come out, so well. And in the long run, then that was, there were so many surprises that we got, before even the fruit started to come. I then noticed that we were having different branches. What was bringing it? My boy told me maybe the fertilizer. I said, fertilizer, how many kg of fertilizer are we using that will bring this kind of branches? Later on, someone now came to visit. He wanted to see what was happening because I told him that, come and see, there's bush everywhere. This, and I said, okay, let me come and visit your farm. He said, which variety did I buy? I said, Gringo. He said, Gringo is bush variety, that there will be bush everywhere. That how come? And we did two drip lines on a heap, So I was like, what are we going to do now? But at that time, it was too late, other than to be managing what we had. I was thinking of how many losses we are going to get again. When the flowers started to come, we had almost all female flowers, like 2 male flowers on, like a plant. I was like, I called Damilola again that I'm having this challenge. I'm having all female flowers. I'm not seeing male. What is happening? He said, instead of you to be happy, I said, so what is going to pollinate the female flowers? He said, madam, just go and relax yourself. There's no problem. Keep doing what you are doing. It's okay. So then the harvest came. We started the harvest like every other harvest. We thought it was going to be something like, okay, 5 people should come, let them start doing their work, and that was it. So, but during that time, one of my observations was that we were able to apart from that, the seed is very good, or the kind of work we did, we were able to downgrade the disease to an extent that we didn't even see any trace. We didn't see any trace of disease except for aphids at some point, So, and that one we tested them, you know. But the fungi, we were able to really work on them, and we didn't see anything. And we're doing our harvest, it was coming like that in mass. You know, at some point I will first of all stay in my place, my hotel. I will call my boy that what is happening, that I hope this thing is not too much today again. He will tell me that, I don't know where you went to get this seed, that these people are just complaining every day. We had more than 50 people, you know, on that 1 acre, harvesting on daily basis, back to back, for 2 weeks without stopping. Because by the time they are done, because we segmented it into 2 plots, by the time they are done with these 2 plots, I'll move to the next one. When they are done with that one, they will come back again to this one. It can take them like 3 days to stay on 1, 2 plots. So it was a very, very serious issue. But I was, at the end of the day, what I think would really helped and really gave us, you know, that success is the seed that we chose. Because I've never, ever since, I think I've planted like so many varieties. And I know the kind of results I got at the end of each variety. Gringo F1 is a very different one. I never came across a seed like that. If you plant cucumber today, you harvest today, because that's how I plant. I don't rest. My land does not rest at all. If I plant cucumber today, I finish today. We retill the soil and do everything. We plant again. I don't even have the fear of either downy mildew at any time, or something is going to bother me. Or something is going to bother me, because I know that the seed is a
She needs to unmute
Yes.
us. Please unmute yourself.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now that he said they look so comfortable, like they don't have any problem. Then I now told him one thing, that this cucumber, this East-West seed, they are like help. You know, in Yoruba, when you say something is like is merciful, it's like a merciful seed to farmers. You know, even if it's going to present a problem, if it's coming up with a problem or something happens, you know, whatever approach, the right approach, whatever right approach or good approach that you use to attack it is going to bounce back. I've seen a case where the person did not water for like 3 or 4, 5 days, you know, due to maybe problem with their pumping machine and all that. But by the time they started to give water, it bounced back. You know, I just keep looking at this kind of seed. What kind of seed is this one? You understand? My boy even gave it different kind of name. Like, we will go home at night, there'll be nothing on the farm. Come back in the morning and come and see cucumber again. What's bringing cucumber on this farm? You understand? So, but the truth is, it's not a joke. We actually work really hard, because I will not ignore that fact. But working hard with something that is worthy of working with. You know, it's not just enough to work. At the end of the day, you have stories to tell. I have done that too. Many times I will sleep right in the middle of the farm. That's in where my boys are sleeping. I just look for something, just to know that what is happening gone that spoils this thing. You understand? But I later knew that, you know, whenever you are doing anything, if you have not come across the right products to deal with, to work with. Now we are talking about seed. If you have not, we are talking about farming. If you have not come across the right seed to use, then I think the person is still joking. The most important thing, after all the agronomy practices and everything, you must get the right seed. Now, before, when we want to plant, I will make sure I'm right on the farm. For all you care, I will fast for 3 days and pray. But now, sometimes they will plant behind me. Then it will be like a taboo for them to plant behind, because I'll be like, what did you guys do wrong? What didn't you do well? Even when I'm there, there will still be mistake. And it is no mistake. It's just because those seeds were not as dependable. they couldn't do all the work that we wanted them for. So I think at this point I've been able to, to explain exactly how my experience with Gringo F1 is. Then also, when it came to feeding, spraying of chemicals and all that, it will shock everybody that I only used to give 5 kg of NPK 15-15. When we were using with urea, we mixed the two together to make 5 kg. When we were doing with MOP, we will do the two together to make 5 kg every 5 days, and that was all. Then spraying my chemicals, initially we would be using 50 ml, you understand? But later, when I studied, when I knew what the plants wanted, we stopped doing all that. We downgraded to like 20 ml, 15 ml of some, 10 ml of some, because that was what the plant required. So I think that's my full story and my experience with Gringo F1. Thank you, everybody.
Awesome.
Madam Folake there.
Yes, awesome. I didn't realize I was muted. Thank you so much, Madam Folake. I've been talking to you and I still can't get over this. Thank you. You inspire me. You inspire a lot of us. Thank you so much for sharing your success story. And I hope we have all been able to learn one or two things from there. So there's a short video we would like to show you before we proceed. Host, please, can you show the video on cucumbers?
Can we get Mr. John to be ready after the video? I think he needs to know.
Yes, Ms. Olumide, thank you. You're back in. So, thank you. You're back in. So, after this video, we'll take you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. More grace to you.
We can see the video, but no audio. Mrs. Yarrow, there's no audio.
There's no audio?
No.
Okay, fine. I will repeat again. Sorry. ₦700,000. Is the audio back?
Yes.
Okay, fine.
So my name is Mrs. Falake Ayuba. This is the 4th year that I've been doing vegetable farming, and my first experience with Gringo is this year. Previous experience we had with other varieties was we used to harvest for like 7 to 8 times, but in this case we went to like 13 times, and what we had at the end of the day was 50 kg times 1,032 bags from 17,000 seeds, kind of the 1 acre and 17,000.
Audio's gone. The audio wasn't on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were
Okay,
only able to
I'll
read the
share the
captions.
link. I'll share the link and then people.
Okay, great. Okay, so they can get it on YouTube. Okay, thank you so much. And we'd like Mr. Olumide to please share his success story with us. We've seen your picture with so many baskets of tomatoes. Please share your success stories with us. Can we have Mr. Adeyemi Olumide, please? Has it dropped? Is Mr. Olumide in?
I'm not sure again. I don't see him.
Oh, I think his network, I can't see him. I think his network must be fluctuating. He was in a minute ago.
Message.
He's not in.
We can continue when we start and we can just.
Oh dear. So are you ready to share the varieties with us?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So Mr. Adeyemi's network is fluctuating, is dropped, so we'll have Hadiza. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much again. I'm back with another session of East-West seed varieties in Nigeria. Cucumber is an interesting crop, and I think the market is growing by the day. A lot of farmers just cultivate cucumber without paying attention what the market wants. For cucumber, we have different segments, and each of these segments is unique to a particular area based on color, taste, and purpose of utilization. Like you can see on my first slide, you can see the very dark green varieties of cucumber, and then you see some that are like light green patched with white. And of course, we have even the very white one, white like snow in the company. But Nigerians, I think there is this perception from region to region. The greener, they tell you is more nutritious, but I don't think so. It depends on what you want to do with the cucumbers. Cucumbers can be classified into two major categories. We have the US slicers, and then we have the oriental types. The very green cucumbers, like the gringo, the Mona Lisas, the US slicers, basically used for salads. But then again, we have another segment, which is the oriental segment. In the oriental segment, we have other varieties, and they are typical of Asian descent, very crispy, very nice. And of course, people need to know the oriental types are more rugged than even the gringos and the Mona Lisas we're talking about, because I saw a chat, somebody asking, what about Nandini? And I was like, okay, don't worry, I'm going to speak about varieties. So, going to the next slide, this is just a typical look of Gringo F1. Most people have had it, some have never seen it, but this is Gringo F1, and you can see the productivity. And credit to this farm. This is Engineer Daniel's farm. He also grows cucumber apart from tomato. And of course, I learned from his farm. Amazingly, with my experience, I've not seen anything close to. I think I am having some background noise. Am I right? Okay, I think it's better now. Right. So as I was saying, this is Engineer Daniel's farm right in Delta. I visited this farm and I also learned something from him. We never stop learning, like we say. Engineer Daniel's farm, his return on investment, I can tell you, after I did some calculations with him, is even more than 470% return on investment, because there is one unique thing with Gringo I've seen in the field. It has about 3 different trusts, and I mean trust, like level of fruiting. This is the very first trust. And Engineer Daniel, from this level downwards, sometimes harvests about 8 fruits per plant. Please follow my calculation, 8 fruits. And after the first trust, there is an upper trust that grows from the top. That is the second batch. And in the second batch, she can harvest about 7 fruits. We were in a group where people were arguing that the best you can get is just 8 fruits, but Engineer Daniel can get about 20 fruits per plant. I've seen it. So after the first trust from the upper layer, it starts fruiting again from the underneath. And he picks again another 8 fruit with the same quality. As long as you don't compromise your plants to begin to have diseases, if the plant remains healthy, it will continue to give you what you want, meaning you will be smiling to the bank, right? That's just a brief about Gringo, and I really learned from his field that day. This is also another picture of Gringo. You can see the quality of Gringo, bumper harvest, and then again, what farmers and consumers like is good shelf life. I've seen cucumbers, once you harvest, the next day it's turning yellow. And of course, farmers don't want that. Middlemen don't want that. Even the consumers, because you can keep cucumber for at least 1 week. I've seen cucumber that have stayed 2 weeks. Sometimes if we have to do exhibition, it spends 2-3 days on the road from the south. Once it gets to the north, additional days, even after the exhibition, the cucumber is still looking good and healthy. So that's a typical characteristics of most of East-West seed cucumbers. And I'm sure farmers can testify. The day I went to Delta, we had some middlemen coming all the way from Port Harcourt. And one testimony they gave is, I met a Hausa man there. He said he can travel all the way for this cucumber because once they buy the cucumber, it can stay weeks without going bad, and they still can sell the cucumbers compared to other varieties. Next, in the same segment of the US slicers is Mona Lisa F1. It also has similar characteristics with Gringo. It's also dark green in color, not the white. It doesn't have the white patches like the Oriental segment. So these are the 2 major categories of Gringos we sell in the market. Then moving to the Oriental segment, where we have the light green patched with white. This is more of the south market. For the US slicers, the market is the southwest and the northern part of Nigeria. A lot more people within these regions have no idea or have never seen this kind of cucumbers. But I can assure you, Syra, that is the Oriental cucumbers, are very crispy, very heavy, very succulent. Because if you go to the south of Nigeria, most people snack with cucumbers, with granules, and then the taste is really unique. I have a farmer who one time wanted to buy cucumbers, and he was to cultivate in Kwara. And then he told me he needed the Oriental segment. I was like, are you really sure? He said, yes, that this is what he wants. And sad enough, he cultivated and he got about 20 to 30 bags, but he couldn't sell. He couldn't sell because people don't know it. So we need to watch out that cucumbers, you need to know your market before you start cultivating cucumber. This is a farmer, the popular Udwak in Uyo. She also plants Nandini and Syra. You can see her happy, very active farmer in the field, and you can see the quality of cucumbers that you can get from East-West seed varieties. We also have another variety called, the Cayenne F1. This is a funny farmer on our platform. He was so excited to see the size of Cayenne, and he decided to put it close to his hand to tell people, wow, my cucumber is quite big. But then, you know, Nigerians, generally, once the fruit is not big, then it's a no-go area for them. But then when I have my colleagues coming into the country, they'll be like, what, Hadiza, this is overgrown. I say, yes, people like it really, really big. But then they'll be like, out there, they go for small, succulent cucumbers. I say, no way. Nigerians want it very big. They want value for their money, I think. right? This is a new variety we launched last year into the market, Dewi F1. It is an oriental cucumber, but typically looks like the US slicer. And this variety has been turning heads. And these are pictures from our farmers field. You can see how vigorous the cucumber is. And I tell you, this is a fantastic variety because we find a lot of interest. People, whether you're growing the US slicer or you're growing the oriental cucumbers, this fits perfectly into most segments. And please watch out for this variety because it is very good and high yielding. These are more pictures from the field, like I've said. Then last but not the least, we also put to mind some of our small customers that want to grow under protective covers. We call them the baby cucumbers. That is Basima F1. It is like the very small one, the seedless cucumbers. Let me put it that way. Basima F1 is also good, and I think it's gaining some ground in the market because we have people supplying to groceries, people wanting to have salads that is really nice and tasty. Thank you very much. I think I see Olumide now.
Thank you. Please, Mr. Olumide, if you are in, we would like you to speak. The host will unmute you. Yes.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Are you with me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, we can hear
Yes,
you.
we can hear you.
Okay, this is Adeyemi John Lumide, based in Kwara.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Good
evening. I can see that you are by the tall white and blue building.
Yes.
Okay, the first street on your right, not the second. Where you are, the first street there, where there's like a police checkpoint on your right. Please enter that street because they are.
Hello? Can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah,
we can hear you.
John, we can hear you.
Okay. This is Adeyemi John Lumide, based in Kwara State, Olumide Agro Consult. I just want to speak little on platinum tomato. Yeah, platinum tomato is a very good variety of tomato which I love so much, either in rainy season or dry season. But I do grow platinum during the rainy season. And one of the things I love about platinum is that anything you give to platinum, it give you back. And that's one of the major reasons why you see me going around on farm with my bags, because any small thing I want to give to platinum, I carry my bag, I check my laptop so that it can give me a better result. I've been buying platinum back to back. IB in solo card can testify to that. So one of the things I really understand about platinum is that when you give platinum alongside with organic fertilizer, it gives you the best. If you can even try purely organic, it gives you more best, like seriously. Late last year, I bought a platinum and I tried it with only organic. It gave me more than what it gave me more results than what I harvested when I mixed it with inorganic fertilizer. So platinum is one of my major variety of tomato that I love so much so far. I can't even change. I was contemplating of buying Pandman. So I just say no. Platinum have been giving me what I really want. So over the years, when I started this platinum, it was from Palm App in Ibadan. So I just how far, if what's up, which of the variety do you have? Say platinum. I say which variety is this? So it's from East West. I know about Padma, but okay, let me go with platinum. Unfortunately for me, it turned out to be a better variety. I was sharing a screenshot with Madam Adiza concerning the platinum I bought December 27, and it's on feed presently. So one thing I understand about platinum, major thing that people do about tomato, majorly platinum, the mistake people really make is people really make sometimes that they wait till effects of maybe insects or fungi attacks it. But me, I don't wait till I see the effects of insects or fungi or any of the bacteria on my tomato. I already know the time these things are coming around. I know the time this, and one of the fertilizer I use most, which I bombard engineer down with, is magnesium sulfate right from Israel. I give my platinum magnesium sulfate on time and it give me result. And apart from that, people don't really put in resources, as in I was consulting for someone and say, the price of this fertilizer, they are too much. I say, if you can't give resources to this thing, it can't give you the results you really want. So there are some people that basically this platinum I'm talking about, if not because I'm not on feed, I will have shown you what is going on with my platinum on feed and see, and everybody will be amazed about the platinum. So I love platinum to the extent that there's no year I won't cultivate platinum. Even I'm contemplating buying another platinum tomorrow from Solar Card again, so that he can send me, so that I can plant that against the rainy season coming ahead. So I love platinum to the extent that I can't really change to any other tomato variety. Like from east west too, I can't change to any other tomato variety. I'm still waiting for platinum what they call it, this advanced one. But nevertheless, I want people to realize or to know that if they can go with platinum, in fact, it will be really amazing. It will amaze them, like seriously. I don't play with my potassium nitrates, my magnesium, my calcium nitrates. I don't play with them because these two fertilizer with my magnesium sulfate give me result on platinum, and that's why the result you see that they share on the screen is as a result of what I've put in place to get my results. And one of the things I love platinum for is that platinum can carry any disease attack to the even point of fruiting and harvesting. Like seriously, what I noticed last year is that there was little attack of disease on the platinum. See, when I give the correct fertilizer, the platinum was still telling me that don't worry. I do tell people that plants speak. I do tell some of my agronomists on farm that plants speak. They say it is like I told them, see, this platinum is speaking to me that I should not worry about any disease at all. That so far I can give it a fertilizer that I need, that don't worry. In the Yoruba people say, so what I mean is that if dog swallows stone, it is just only water that will come. So that is what platinum used to tell me on feed. And wherever I get to feed and I see my platinum do well, I will just smile. My workers will just be saying, "Oga, what are you smiling now?" I say, you won't understand, because my platinum are telling me something that, don't worry, I will still give you the best. So this is just little of my experience about platinum. I encourage people, buy platinum and you give a testimony. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adeyemi Olumide. I see so many baskets of tomatoes around you. I'm envious. Well done. Thank you. Thank you all, everybody. I think our time is fast spent, so let's just go quickly into the question and answer session. Now, I see that a lot of questions are in the chat already. Some of them have been responded to, and some of them are also repeat questions from different people. I have tried to merge some together, so we'll quickly go into the session. Now, I think the first set of questions I'm going to address to Engineer EJ. Many people asked for the size of land used for the project. There's a background noise. Is it from me? Host, can you mute everyone, please, so that we can hear the questions clearly? Okay, I think it's better now. So I'll go back to the questions. Many people ask the same question, the size of the land used for the project, and that's a question to engineer. I'll ask you about 3 questions at the same time because it relates to your presentation. Olumide asked for the chemical used to control pest and disease control. And Akintola Adeyemi is asking for the aggregate harvest in kilogram per shrub and average units of fruit in a kg. So we have 3 questions in one for engineer. The first one, the size of the land used for the project. The second one, the name of the chemicals used for pest control and diseases. And the third is the aggregate harvest in kilogram per shrub and average units of fruits in a kilo. Engineer, you have the floor. Engineer Dan. You can unmute yourself, engineer.
Okay, I can hear you now. I said the last question, how many kilograms per shrub?
Okay, I'll ask it. Let me go into the question again. It says
just the last question. I got the first.
Okay, your average harvest in kilogram per shrub and average units of fruits in a kilogram.
Okay. I will start from the first. The land size I use for that project is about 0.25 hectares. That is 1/4 of a hectare. I think that is covered. Then regarding the pest and the disease control measure, first and foremost, it's good to distinguish insect or pest control measure and disease control measure. Both are different. So for the, are you hearing me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
for
yes,
the pest control, I use 3 chemicals which I alternate twice weekly. I use imidacloprid from Imifos. The active ingredient is imidacloprid. Then I use caterpillar phos. Then I use best. That one is cypermethrin issue. So those are the 3 chemicals I use for pest control to fight the insects coming into the I repeat it again. For pest control, I use Imifos, imidacloprid there. I use best action cypermethrin there. And I use caterpillar phos. I've forgotten the AI for the caterpillar phos to fight the caterpillars. Then for the disease control, I use hexaconazole, that is Hexacar. I use little of Cabriduo. Then I use the Macuze. Those are the 3. I usually pick three active ingredients for each of them, the pest and the disease. Then the last one, one fruit weighs about 70 grams for platinum. So for one kg, I have about I am hearing a background noise. So 1 kg, I just divided. 1 fruit is about 8. 1 kg is about sometimes 12, sometimes 13, sometimes 11 fruits per kg. That is the average. There are some food that weighs more than that. There are some that weighs below that. So about 12 fruits per kg. So regarding the number of fruits per plant, sometimes I have, I think minimum is around 125, but sometimes I do have 150, 160. The average is about 150 fruits per plant for the platinum. Then the kg per plant, I think I sent a video. I don't know if you're able to download it, Mrs. Folake.
No, it was very heavy.
Okay. There, me and my worker, we just pick a fruit, a particular plant from the farm. Not that is the best in the farm. We just decided to pick that one. So we harvested all of the fruits after we have picked about 4 or 5 times from that field. The remaining fruit, we picked all of them, we weigh it, and we got 6.3 kg from that plant. So I hope I have answered the 3 questions.
Thank you very much, engineer. Yeah, once again, you amaze me. I'm inspired, and we appreciate your sharing with us. If you would like to have a copy of this webinar, please send your email address to the chat. If you would also like to join the WhatsApp group, please send your name and your WhatsApp number on the chat. Thank you very much. There's another question which I'll address to you, engineer. It's from Ishaku Yankasari. And he says that with the high and hotter temperature in northern Nigeria, most especially Kano, I am intending to plant some vegetables around May and June. Can that be possible? I think engineer and maybe Adiza can help us with that question before we go on to the next.
Okay, it's possible. All you need to do is give it water.
Okay. That's easy? Okay.
Yeah, good. It's possible. The yield will be fine, but always give water.
Awesome. Thank you. So I think the next question also is to you. And it's from, okay, Samuel Oyeni said he didn't get the data correctly. So maybe before the end of the webinar, we'll try and display the slide on the data again. Then Oloruntosin Oluwashino says, how did you control bacterial wilt and nematode?
Okay, before planting, I use a nematode control measure. I applied it immediately after transplanting. So the chemical I use is I use the worm force for nematode. So bacterial weight, the plant is resistant to bacterial weight. And what I would like to say is this. Before I did that project, I planted several varieties of tomato in the field to see which will survive our environment. Of all the varieties I planted, the platinum stood out. So that was why I used platinum for that variety. It stood out in terms of disease resistance. It stood out in terms of yield, and it stood out in terms of quality. When you have platinum in the field, you will harvest without seeing there is this tomato that is not too good that sometimes is in the farm. After harvesting, people pick it. So in the part of the farm where I planted platinum, you won't see any of such. When I mean you won't see any of such. So in essence, the platinum, all you harvest, you will sell it. You will not have one. You will not. It's very, very hard to have a fruit that we waste, except you are not taking good care of it. You won't have any fruit that is wasted. All that you harvest, they are sellable.
Okay, can I make a comment, please, on the resistance of platinum F1? Platinum F1, we refer to it as a very rugged tomato variety. Where other tomato varieties cannot stand, you find it standing. And of course, for bacterial wilt, don't even waste your time. You don't have anything to control bacterial wilt in the soil. Your only best bet is to use resistant varieties. And I tell you one secret, even in East-West seed, there is no tomato variety that can stand bacterial wilt as much as platinum. the level of resistance for platinum in terms of bacterial wilt, it has the highest. Padma and other ones, yes, they are resistant to bacterial wilt, but forget it. Platinum is in a different class. It's outstanding. So let's just take note of that.
Thank you.
Because even at about, I think, 300 degrees centigrade, you can't kill bacterial wilt. You have to like subject it to very high temperatures for several days. So it's almost like something impossible. And you can imagine the cost of investment just to kill bacterial wilt in your soil, right? It's cheaper to even buy a variety that is resistant to bacterial wilt than any type of remedy. Thank you.
Let me buttress the point. I said something the other time. I said, platinum, we always tell you that, don't worry, just give me the fertilizer I need. Forget about the bacterial weight. Like, seriously, I do tell people that platinum used to speak, like, seriously. And one thing about platinum is that it's a rain-fed tomato. And once something is a rain-fed tomato, forget anything that comes along with the rain, he accepts it. The only thing platinum needs from you is that just give me what I need. Don't worry about the bacterial weight. I will destroy them. I will carry them and they won't even show in my body. That's one thing about platinum. It's a rain-fed tomato, and you know, during the rainy season, more of fungi, more of bacteria. And one thing, this thing goes along with each other, and that is why I said that platinum will always tell me that, John, don't worry about anything. Just give me the fertilizer I require for my growth, then you see me giving you results. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, John. Just to chip in something, because it's rugged, there is a very difficult window for growing tomato, which is starting from February, March, April, when the temperatures are very high. And usually you discover that it's sometimes in May, June, July, August that you don't see tomato. And people feel, oh, this is the period when tomato cannot grow. No, something had happened some 3-4 months ago that is causing lack of tomato in the market. So if it can grow in that difficult period, then of course the raining season is a walkover. I've seen platinum variety that is almost about 2 to 3 meters high in the south, very, very, very high, taller than even the farmer. In fact, I was even amazed to say, what variety is this? And somebody said, you would not imagine that this is my friend's farm somewhere in Akure. That is taller than even a very tall man, right? Very, very tall. So I think it's a variety to reckon with. Thank you.
Thank you all so much. Adisa, I will direct the next question to you. And it's a question from Kayodedo. It says, how do you manage acidic soil? It's affecting our Mekong and Kaveri yield.
Yeah, I think I'd already responded to that.
Okay.
You need to do a lot of soil remedy. And I told him that is a full topic. That is a topic you can treat in 1 month. So probably we'll look into that, or he chats me up, but I don't think we will be able to discuss that in this sitting.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, Charles is asking, which varieties is best grown in Akwa Ibom during the rainy season? So we can talk about
we have a lot of varieties that can go for the raining season. We've positioned Diva, we've positioned Platinum, we've positioned Padma. A lot of varieties, you're good to go. But then again, you need to know your onion. For example, Olumide that has a first-hand experience with Platinum, even if you convince him with another variety, he said he's not changing. But you're good to go with Padma, you're good to go with Platinum, you're good to go with Diva. Any of these varieties is fantastic, right?
Okay, thank you. Some questions have been answered already in the chat. So we'll quickly move on to 1 minute. Question from Tosin Adioye. The question is directed to engineer. It says 800K spent on fertilizer. Can you please advise which fertilizers and how you apply them?
Okay.
Engineer?
Yeah. Okay, I love that question. You know, everything I do in my farm is from research we have done before. Like John, my friend said, plant speaks. You have to understand the plant. So sometimes 3 years ago, I did a research. I planted tomatoes. I want to study the lead time and the lag time. What I mean is, you know, when you give plant fertilizer, how long does it take before it accepts it? And when it accepts it, how long does it take before it shows on the plant? When you fail to give a fertilizer, the plant strength goes down. So that stress that it goes, how does it affect the yield? So I did a whole lot of that on a project, as a research. So after the project, I learned so many things. So the question you asked, 800 and something thousand naira for fertilizer. Potassium is very, very expensive. And tomato require a lot of potassium. I don't do what I want on the farm. I do what the plant wants. So, and potassium comes in two forms, either in chloride form or in nitrate form. So in my farm, in our operation, we don't give 100% nitrate form because of the cost, and we don't give 100% chloride form because of the quality. Ordinarily, tomato prefer nitrate forms. So what we do is we divide the total potassium we want to give into two. Half comes from the nitrate form and half comes from the chloride form. So nitrate is very, very expensive. So having said that, we still look at nitrogen. Nitrogen, potassium, they are essential for tomato production. So the fertilizers we have in the market, the locally available fertilizers, they are not the nitrate form of nitrogen. I think they are all in ammonia form. So we want to have a better quality source of nitrogen. So we still have that 50% from the ammonia form, then the other 50% from nitrate form. So we get them from the nitrate form for nitrogen. We can get it from potassium nitrate, from calcium nitrate, from sometimes ammonium nitrate. So that is why the price is quite high. If we had picked this 2010, 10, 15, 15, 15 MOP, the price wouldn't have been up to that. But rest assured, the quality, we will not have the quality we want. We will not have the yield we want. So that's that. I hope I have answered the question, and I hope the person who has the question understands the direction I'm going to.
Thank you, engineer. I have two people ask the same question, and it's directed at Mr. Olumide. How did you manage bacterial wilt and white flies? Can you share your feeding program? That's Mr. Olumide. Are you still on?
Yes, I'm still on. Yeah, okay. I do tell people I don't wait till all these things infected my farm before I give them something. I know normally that okay, this particular period, this thing must come. So I do my spraying or the giving of this insecticide like 2 weeks before they can come around. And I do tell people like Nigeria insecticide, if you overuse it, it will affect your plant. If you do not use it if you use it at minimum, it won't work effectively. So what you have to do is just that you spray consistently. You understand? Like me, like this, per week I do spray. Like I'm talking about the white flies now. I do spray every week of white flies. And another thing about insects that people must know, insects have ability to mutate insecticide. And that is why it is recommended that you change your insecticides once a while. And that is why most of these chemical companies are now using the combo, are now mixing the combo for you, like battery mix. You see some sapamethrin, you see some sapamethrin, and accept me free. So they have let you know that we leave the world of insects. They will come around and they have the ability to mutate. The only thing you can use to conquer them is you spray consistently and you change your active ingredients on them. Then based on the bacterial weights that I talk about, like I do say, platinum is a rugged tomato, and I don't wait till anything till bacterial weight affect. I don't wait till bacterial weight affect my farm before I can spray them. So, and another thing about the bacterial weight is that I change this fungicide also. Like I change my fungicide also. Like I can spray mancozeb and there are two methods I do to control bacterial weight. Like I may decide to fertigate some fungicide at the same time spray another active ingredient of a fungicide. Like for example, now I can spray mancozeb and metallexy M, then fertigate the fertilizer. You understand? And this have been the way that have been assisting me in controlling bacterial weight and any other. And apart from that, I do use this Syngenta product a lot, because I don't run after, just like what Engineer Dan said. I don't do what I want on the farm. I do what plant is telling me. You understand? I don't look after the cost. So far, it's going to give me results. I believe I'm able to answer the question.
Thank you, Ms. Olumide. There are some questions in the chat that want us to discuss other varieties. Professionally, we will not do that. So we're sorry, we may not be able to respond to those questions. We will only speak about East-West seed.
Times when we do the pruning, we are trying to like delay the crop, especially when you have a plant that is not really matured for fruiting. When you see that you have issues and you want to like delay it from actually producing, then you do the pruning. You can also prune when you have like a vegetation or thick population, right? We also advise you prune. But as much as possible, I can tell you, most of our farmers that grow cucumber don't really bother to prune. So if you're not a professional, I strongly advise, please do not prune. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Yarrow. There are still so many questions, and we have really run out of time. But there's one question I'd like to address to Madam Folake. It says, thanks, Madam, good attempt. Please, were you able to collate total harvest of the cucumbers in kilograms for the land space, or the average weight of each harvested bag?
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, each bag, I think, was between 45 kg to 50 kg, and we had about 1,000, and the record we had was 1,032 bags, but that wasn't, the actual figure for what we had, because we lost a lot of flowers to the bush. Like I explained the other time, there were some people that came to the farm to buy the cucumbers then. So those were not even recorded at all. But from the time I started to record, I had 1,032 bags. And if we go by let's put it on the average of 45 kg, per bag. So then we can, let me, a second.
Thank you, Madam.
We can say we add 46 tons, 0.4. 46.4 on that 1 acre. Also, we should be mindful of the plant population. We had like 17,000 plant population.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. We have many questions. but we need to go. So please drop your email in the chat. We'll advise you and we'll inform you of upcoming webinars. We hold our webinars every month. And Adesina Gbadebo, yes, we will post these videos on the Farmers platform so that at least you can see the videos and be encouraged and you can ask questions on the platform. So many questions, but we need to go. We want to say a very big thank you to everybody on behalf of VD&S Farmers Center and Royal Blue Contractors and East West Seed International. We want to thank particularly our speakers for today, Engineer Daniel EJ, Mrs. Folake Ayuba Gumbiade, and Mr. Adeyemi Olumide. And we want to appreciate our sponsor, Know Your Farm Hands. And we say a big thank you to all of you, great farmers who have set time to attend today's webinar. And at this time, after over 2 hours, we're all still here. We say a very big thank you to you. At VD&S Farmers Center, our aim is to positively impact farmers' lives and businesses, and we trust that we have been able to add value to you. For further questions and other clarification, please contact us at info@vdsfarmsonline.com. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Can you drop that platform on the chat, please?
What was the question?
Please,
The
can you
website?
drop the website on the chat?
Okay, so we'll drop our website. We'll drop for East West as well.
And I think it's worth mentioning that our webinar is every 2 months.
So from the people then who dey work for you, the profits wey you dey make now no reach wetin you suppose dey make because people wey dey work for you no dey honest. Dem no just send you. We don carry Know Your Farm Hands come. Make you download Know Your Farm Hands app from Play Store on top your Android device. Come start to dey register your farm hands for free. If you don register on this app, you go fit verify the worker wey you get mind to hire to work on top your farm. Because farmers wey be like you don add each farm hand on top there and dem don talk wetin dem know about dem for DSF. The only thing wey you need to do na to put your information for there, open account, then just log inside the app. After that, if you click for the corner wey dey the bottom left, you go fit search for the farm hand wey you wan hire with their names, email and phone number until you see the farm hand wey you dey find. Farmers wey don work with the worker wey you get for mind to hire go flag them and then give you information as per the experience wey dem get with them. Make you sef register your own farm hands on top the app and you fit come carry their fingerprints put for there. Yes, this one go be like unique identification for each farm hand. Immediately dem don dey registered, just click on top flag to talk wetin you know about them. If you need help as you dey do all of this, just send email to support@knowyourfarmhands.ng abi make you phone 0705 3680 191 or 0809 091 5139. Sabi your farm hands make you for free from stress. Free from stress.